What led us into this industry was a clear need for consumers' health to be offered better for you and for us, and began a journey of wanting to be that first brand to smash the great taste of naturally sugar-free.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another executive interview where we delve into the success stories and unique strategies of innovative businesses. Today we are thrilled to have with us Troy Douglas, the co-founder and joint CEO of Goodness Group Global, a company that is reshaping the landscape of better for you food and beverages. And Troy, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Rhythm, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to share our journey.
Amazing. And we can see that the different beverages that we have in front of us. I had the opportunity to try the passion fruit one, and I have to say that I love it. Now, it would be great to begin our interview with an overview of Goodness Group Global's journey so far and the transition that you have made from Nexba to a multi-category brand platform.
Thank you, Rhythm. The question is, where do we begin? It's fair to say that Nexba, now Goodness Group Global, has been a 13-year journey to date. So October this year will mark our 14th year. And I think as founders, my background was law and communications. My business partner, Drew Wilby, his background was engineering. And we were in our early 20s when we began this journey. And I think what led us into this industry was a clear need for consumers' health to be offered better for you. And for us, that began with Nexba. So we imported accounting line, set up shop, and began a journey of wanting to be that first brand to smash the great taste of naturally sugar-free. So it took us about 5 years to craft our ability in what we term our good sweet IP. So our Intel chip that allows us to remove sugar and artificial ingredients from any product that we put together. And after we created that in around 2015, 2016, that really was when the explosive brand growth for Nexba began. So our focus was grocery and hitting major traditional categories like soft drinks. And what began to happen is we started to win in those emerging categories, like what we've got on the table here with our kombucha.
Amazing.
After that kind of journey and our first kind of capital raise that we did, a Series A, it was about how do we now prove an Australian brand can go global and make an international impact with our IP and the good suite. So that lends ourselves to the last 3 years in a pretty tricky environment of still being able to achieve great traction and success in a new region like the UK, and then expanding into Europe. And what we learned in that is, as founders, we're the best people to build a platform. So that lends us to where we are today, with having restructured ourselves from just Nexba to Goodness Group Global. So Goodness Group Global is about building a platform of better for you brands that taste good and do good. And I think what is the most exciting thing for us and for this opportunity today for investors to join is we have successfully made that transition from Nexba to Goodness Group. And right here on the table is the first time we've already got brands that are in market. So I think we'll chat a bit more about Remixed. The Good Brekkie itself, that's to take on a big category like Up and Go. That'll be on shelves next week in Coles.
Exciting.
And there's many more brands we're bringing to market. But if you think from why was the reason to establish Goodness Group, is it's about creating scale through building multiple brands and create volume, but leveraging the same operational infrastructure in this environment, the same great team that's establishing great things with Nexba. So we've got a hero brand, Nexba, and then this next phase is about bringing more brands into entering new categories, and all of which will leverage our good suite IP.
Absolutely. Now, these are some fascinating insights that you've shared with us, Troy. One thing that comes to mind is that obviously the good sweetener is definitely like a game changer, because so can you explain that how it actually differentiates from the existing sweeteners that we have in the market? You've talked about its patented status, so anything you want to add in there, and how it actually contributes to the overall appeal of Goodness Group Global's brands?
Yeah, I think what is unique to Goodness Group is the fact that we have this proven good sweet natural sweetener blend that is our IP and that we own. So we took 6 years to develop our first iteration of good sweet, and that's what's patented that you're referring to.
Right.
And from that point, it was what consumers require in every category is to maintain great taste.
Right.
So if you think about the sweetener universe, when when sugar got exposed, multinationals then started to bring out, combos with natural sweeteners like stevia and sugar. And then what they failed to deliver on was taste. And then what became more harmful to consumers, and which is the large value proposition for Goodness Group and our Good Sweet IP, is they began to put artificial sweeteners inside products like soft drinks. Not obviously Nexba, but if you think about in the UK as an example, that soft drink category has 2 billion worth of retail sales, all of which are powered by things like diet and sugar-free, all those claims.
Correct.
But they've got aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener inside. So a number of the large leading brands contain those artificial sweeteners. And only last year, we've been waiting, nearly 13 years, 12 years for the WHO, so the World Health Organization, to actually bring out the news that we knew in terms of the science that proves that artificial sweeteners, your body can't kind of get rid of that negative aspects, and it stays inside you, and that's what causes negative health implications. So Good Sweet, the benefit of that is it's leveraging, I guess, the best food science at the time. So stevia and erythritol is an example, natural ingredients and components. And what we also have is these natural flavors that round out the taste profile of sugar, which is what consumers are used to. But that means that any product in Goodness Group that we bring to market will never add sugar or will never add artificial ingredients. So this is an example, is the Good Brekkie taking on the big guys in the category of kind of liquid breakfast in Australia. Their no added sugar version is, I think, 25% more sugar than our current version. But what's different, what Nexba couldn't do as a standalone brand is we wanted to be focused with Nexba wins in healthier functional soft drinks. But when we think about other categories like liquid breakfast, which consumers are used to having dairy in that product.
Correct.
Dairy has naturally occurring sugars. So Nexba as a brand couldn't play there. So the benefit to investors and the market is we've re-engineered our space of the Nexba liquid brekkie to launch our Good Brekkie brand, which has the benefit of having good sweet, way less sugar, and the great taste.
Amazing. So it's like breakfast on the go. That's brilliant. Now, these are impressive innovations indeed that you've shared with us. Now, with consumers that are gravitating towards all natural sweeteners and healthy options, how does Goodness Group Global position itself to capitalize on the global mega trend, especially with the projected 10.6 CAGR for all natural sweeteners by 2026?
Yeah, well, I think over the years as founders, we've had the big meetings with all the multinationals about what is the value proposition that we offer. It's fair to say that the first Good Sweet that we had was 4 times the cost of sugar. Our latest innovation, Good Sweet 2.0, which is rolling across our products, we're now at kind of 2 times sugar. And the reason I share this is every single product, our thesis is you go down the beverage and the food aisle, there shouldn't be sugar and artificially sweetened products on those shelves. You should be able to replace those fridges on those shelves with products that have what Good Sweet offers, which is a natural alternative, which is better for consumers from a health proposition. I think the value in what we have, and if you think about the progression, is absolutely when sugar got exposed, consumers went towards better for you trends. What we think is unique to Goodness Group is the fact that we were the first to try to patent our innovation and our focus on being in this space. So that was back in 2016 was when or 2015-16 when we had our first Good Sweet 1.0. And if you think of how many sales we've had for the brand Nexba, couldn't be a better consumer proof point for the acceptance and the repeat purchase of our taste profile. So now as a platform, we can leverage, I guess, the trust that we've been able to build with our retailers, with our hero brand Nexba, to then look at how do we tackle every other category that makes sense for our business with leveraging Good Sweet inside those new brands that we'll own inside Goodness Group. And we'll also look at down the track what other kind of M&A opportunities to bring other founders together.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Now let's talk about Remix, if I'm pronouncing that right. So with this recent launch, it definitely represents a foray into the alcoholic beverage market. So can you share some insights into the strategic decision behind this move, and how does it align with the Goodness Group Global's mission and overall growth strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So Remixed, it is now available in all First Choice stores. So we've been very much supported with initial launch into the Coles Liquor Group with First Choice. And why are we playing here is clearly this is a stretch out of where we've typically played in non-alc with Nexba.
Yeah.
But the value proposition of what we have been talking about in terms of Good Sweet extends across all categories. So Remixed is a very innovative launch in the Australian market. This is a plant-based Tetra Pak. So 69% plant-based, 100% recycled product with a way less carbon footprint than kind of a normal bottle of wine.
Right.
But the other thing was looking at the economic climate and the conditions and how do we make a healthy alternative available at mass for consumers that can be affordable. So this is wine-based, which means it sits under the wine tax, and we're able to kind of have this on a retail price at $20 and promote down to $15 in kind of leading retailers to create a better for you option.
Yeah.
What I guess led us was we were looking at the industry globally and seeing different innovations. Hard seltzers became kind of a big growth area, but ultimately a lower calorie wine base with fruity flavors has also become quite a big growth area, particularly in places like the US.
Yeah.
So at Goodness Group, we wanted to be first with that in the Australian market, which is what we've done with Remixed. And from a do good perspective, it's about celebrating artists as well. So every pack, if you go and buy one, you can scan. It'll be linked to a DJ and an artist playlist.
Oh,
so
amazing.
You can have a bit of fun over your festive period when you consume.
That's very unique indeed. You don't get to find that on wine bottles for sure. Now, let's talk about, so with notable investors, you have David Koch and Pat Cummins on board. So how has their involvement contributed to the company's success, and what role do they actually play in supporting the broader vision of Goodness Group Global?
Yeah, I think the secret to Drew and myself as founders, and I guess the evolution and story of Nexba and our Goodness Group, is that our investors and people who have joined the journey believe in removing sugar and artificial ingredients from consumption. I think David Koch, I first met him nearly probably 10 years ago. He was sitting next to me on a plane. So it took a while before he also joined the journey, but I think the credibility that the likes of Koshi and particularly Pat Cummins as well brings to Goodness Group is the fact that we are a great Australian-owned business playing in the right industry with better for you alternatives for consumers. So they bring, I guess, hopefully it helps elevate the narrative and the story that we've got, where people like Koshi are investing on this journey as well.
Right.
And then Pat, it's about now elevating our platform. We're obviously not multinational with those time where we bootstrapped for many years in terms of proving our thesis. But now that we know how do we tackle bigger categories, build volume and build a profitable business long term, it's about also leveraging our biggest assets, which is our IP and our Good Sweet, and the fact that we can create incredible liquids and products that taste good and do good. So for Pat, as an example, watch this space, but very soon, I think it's shared. So Pace is a sports brand that we've created, co-collaborated with Pat on bringing to life. So knocking on, this isn't wood, but knocking on wood, we're very imminently, hopefully we'll be sharing that launch plan that will happen kind of May this year. Obviously having somebody like Pat who's got 1.6 million social media influencers, very much invested and excited for the launch of Pace behind, and any brand that we have in Goodness Group is going to be a positive piece. But Pat was also somebody consuming a lot of Nexba, a lot of kombucha, so we needed to get him smashing Nexbas.
Absolutely. That's the best way, right? Like you have to make the investors try the product and then they know what they're coming in for. Now, you have already answered a bit of the question that I was going to ask next. So my last question for our interview today was, what milestones or developments can investors anticipate in, let's say, the 3 to 5 year horizon? So you have talked about the launch that is going to happen in May, but anything else that you would like to inform us about?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we reflect on this opportunity that we're at right now in terms of joining via a bridge convertible note, this is the best time. Operationally, our business has never been better. If we look back 3 years ago when the climate was different, we were looking at securing kind of different private equity, much larger kind of equity round to kind of help with that global scale. The world obviously changed quite fast.
Yeah.
So if you think about what our business has achieved and why this is the right time, is we've gone in a world where things have changed. What better way than to build our platform? If you think of a lot of food and beverage players, it's about building that network of brands that offer vertical integration and value.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of learned how much value sits inside our Nexba brand, inside other bigger businesses and multinationals. So it was about how about we take control of that journey in kind of the 3 buckets of brands, distribution, and manufacturing.
Yeah.
So the next 3 to 5 years is absolutely about building the best business in this industry, leading with better for you brands that taste good and do good. And what we're excited for is we're on the cusp of migrating the total group into positive EBITDA. So between FY23 and FY24, you can see in our business plan there's nearly 5 million turnaround in how we run the business. So that was recognising that if we currently don't own manufacturing, then let's make sure that every format and how we play in each category can be scalable and sustainable. Something like remixed is a very high margin for the business. Same with how do you tackle kind of making products like the Good Brekkie should have a wider appeal to a mass consumer who's looking for value to give healthy options to their kids.
Correct.
So it's going to be a very exciting kind of journey. You get to join when the business is on the cusp of turning into that positive EBITDA territory. So post this bridge convertible note, in parallel, we have obviously been chatting to much more like institutional style investors, which we're seeking to join the journey and help challenge us to make sure we're building the best business, help challenge, I guess, the when we look at M&A, how do we make sure that the right brands will join this journey for the right value to make sure that all shareholders get to grow with that proposition as well. So I think this is a mechanic that you get interest paid monthly at 12%, and then you obviously will get that benefit of a 20% discount of what we're committed to achieve, which is transforming our balance sheet with equity now that the business is moving into profitability long term.
Amazing. That all sounds very exciting indeed, Roy. And we're looking forward to keeping tabs on the growth of Goodness Group Global. And for those who are interested in learning more about the team, please see the details at the side of your screen or in the description of this video. Once again, thank you so much, Roy, for bringing in the products so our investors could see it firsthand. And you've talked about the launch as well, so it's all very exciting. And I thank you again for your time and the wonderful insights that you've shared with us today.
Thank you, Rhythm, and have a great day, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.